Hope you can see this clear enough. I blew it up as best I could. I ran WinCraps last night. I finally got my WinCraps fixed so I can run it again. And here's what I did. I ran about 10,000 outcomes. There's 4,900 and 4,760, whatever. It's like 11,000 or so total outcomes. I'm sorry, just about 10,000 total shooters. So making a point, missing a point, whatever. Here's what you find out. Okay, and this is I've done this a number of times. Okay. Oh my God, follically challenged, really? I know I'm looking in the chats and you guys are talking about other stuff, which makes me laugh. Anyway, I do this progression, the 1, 3, 2, 4, which requires 4 hits to win. Greg was doing the Paroli, which requires 4 hits to win. Let's take a look at what the chances are of getting this. So here I'm going to point to the screen. Point this way. It's weird because everything's backwards. Point to the thing. What you expect is about 50-50 on the pass and don't pass. Now the first line is how many consecutive wins each of them get. So you win the don't pass, you lose the don't pass, it's a consecutive win of one thing, right? About 50% of the time, each of them wins 1 in a row. So that's the chop that you see, right? That's the typical table chop. Interesting though, look at the don't pass, 48.5% or whatever. That means that half the time you win 1 in a row. So 25% of the time overall, you win 1 in a row, which is not a lot. Let's go at it from that point first, right? You're going to win half the time the don't pass wins, period. Half of the time it wins 1 time in a row, right? 24% you get 2. You get 2 consecutive wins, and 12.5% you get 3 consecutive wins, and then you're into the abyss. Then you drop down to getting that 4th win on the don't pass or the pass, right? It's 6.6 or 6.3%, depending on what side of the line you land on, right? 6% chance of getting 4 in a row on either of the lines. Now, again, you're going to find the aberrations. Here you see there's actually, out of 10,000 rolls, we had 10 in a row hit 3 times, right? You're going to get the amazing thing, right? You were doing the 3 at Paroli. I've seen the Paroli done as 4 hits, right? Greg, I believe, and I think what you're saying here is this, line 3 is the one we should be looking at, right? Anything that requires more than 3 consecutive hits should be thrown away, right? I've done 4 hit progressions on this show, and I never seem to hit them. Well, here's why. Because if you actually run it out over 10,000 shooters, you only get it about 6% of the time. That's a bad play to make. So the Paroli that goes to 4 is nonsense, and the 1, 3, 2, 4 also nonsense. A 1, 3, 2, a 1, 2, 3, a 1, 2, 4 Paroli, that can make some sense. Okay, so even at 3 though, man, 12.5%. That's not a lot to hang your hat on. So I think it's good to know the actual numbers when you see this. And I did the same result here numerous times. So I ran the same progression actually I was up till really late last night. After the show was over, my brain was on full tilt, and I did this like 3 times and they're all within a half a percentage point. They're all the same. It's always about the same in this roll here. So I think Dr. S just said it. 3 is the key. Greg, I'll even put up here. 3 is the key from Dr. S. 4 is insane. It just doesn't happen enough to rely on. Okay? It doesn't happen enough to rely on. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to show you on the table not only what does it look like for the 3 hits, because I think that's important to see, but I want you to see what your rack looks like following 2, 3, or 4 or whatever hits, because I think it's very interesting to see the impact in your rack, how we're going to do it. And Greg, I'm going to use your basic 5-5-5 don't system as the baseline, because there's no progression in that one. It's going to be the one that I flat bet basically, but I'm going to flat bet it with the odds. And there's a reason for why I'm going to do that. It's going to be to demonstrate volatility. And I want to show a little bit of what that looks like in the rack. So if y'all don't mind, I'm going to switch to my close-up table view here and work through just what that looks like. I'm going to turn my back on the chat, so I won't be able to see you all writing here, but I'm going to put some bets out here. And I just want to talk about what it looks like as we kind of cycle through this thing. So let me get some chips over here. And let's see, I'll do some greens. I'm going to maybe need to pull from my other rack here in a minute, but let's just look. I'll take some greens and some reds and some whites. The white chips are fine because we're not going to deal with odds except for on Greg's bet. So we're just gonna really be counting units, and we're gonna do the best case scenario for the don't, which is a point of 6 or 8, and we get a 7. So we'll do the max payouts there. So let's just count wins. And I'll use my Pro Craps Lammers. We'll use 3 of those to count the wins. I'll put them right up here in the field so we can see them. And let's see, do I have a clean rack? I think I do. Hold on one second. There we go. Can you see that on screen? I'll put it up here so you can see it. There's a clean rack. All right, let's take the 5-5-5 don't system. We're gonna do 3 times that system. We're gonna do it 3 times. And we'll assume that we get a win every time. We're gonna assume that it works out perfectly. And so Greg comes out with $25, actually I'll turn these to the black side. The blacks will be the non-hits. So he comes out with a don't. Let's say that we establish the point of 8. And then we come out with the $30 lay. That's the standard basic system. And we're gonna play this today 10 times. We're gonna try this exact thing 10 times. So out of the gate, you've got, we're gonna call it 2 units. I know there's extra here, but you need that for the odds. 2 units of volatility guaranteed every shooter, right? Let's call that out. It's gonna require 2 units to get through it. Assuming that we win, right? You're gonna win on the first time $50, and that goes back to the rack. So after win 1, sorry for the dog. After win 1, you've got money in the rack, which is fantastic. Okay, after win 2, let's do it again. We set the point of 8, we 7 out. You have another $50 in your rack. Fantastic. After win 3, and here's the butter zone. We say 3 is the dream. Let's pretend that we lived the dream, and I'm missing a green chip, so hold on, let me get some other greens over here. We live the dream, and we get another hit. So your net profit on 3 hits is obviously going to be 6 units. If you can get 3, you're gonna earn 6. If you can get 1, you're gonna be quote unquote even. This is profit, but you still have money out here for the next one. You don't really show a profit until that second hit. So it really takes 2 hits to be in guaranteed profit. Guaranteed profit meaning what you have out here has been covered and you have extra. You could call that profit on hit number 1 if you wanted to, if you took your stuff and you went home, right? But we're not gonna do that. We're gonna say it's out here, it's at risk, you've earned it back. Hit number 2, you're in profit. Hit number 3, you're at goal. That would be the way, and so the Greg system in 3 hits wins you 6, okay? After the first one, you're working your way back to even. After the second one, you're working on profit. So let's remember that is the way it's gonna be. If you can get 2 in a row, you're in profit. 3 in a row, you're eating steak that night, okay? That's the basic 5-5-5 system. Now let's look at some of the other options that you've got. Let's do the Paroli that Greg was doing yesterday. The Paroli only requires 1. So your volatility goes down by half. You only need 1 unit to work. On hit number 1, you win a unit and you stack it up, okay? Let's say that you win, so on hit number 2, you got those 4 and you stack it up. On win number 3, you would win 4, and now you finally get to come back to your rack, minus the one that you started with, your profit, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1 extra unit in profit than Greg would have gotten, but you don't see 1 dime of that until you've won 3. And there, to me, is the big difference between the way that Greg plays it and the Paroli. There's 2 differences. One is the initial volatility is 1 unit versus 2. So this system is safer in terms of your overall exposure. However, the reward, which is 1 unit better than just playing it flat with the odds, isn't even seen until you have to get 3 in a row. And I think Greg showed that great on his video where he ran through, and never, I mean, how many times did you roll that out, Greg, before you actually hit the 3rd one in a row? It's crazy, right? How hard it is to get 3 in a row anywhere, the field especially, but the don't, it can be a hot minute before you get 3 in a row. That's a tough one to hit. So here's a case where the profitability is about the same, a little bit more. That's a reward that's not, to me, worth it if you don't see anything until roll 3. That's kind of crap. So there's the Paroli breakdown. Now let's do the progressions that I have been promoting all the time. We'll look at the difference there. So in this progression, your initial is 1 unit. Okay, so where the point gets set to 8, Greg's going to drop at that point the odds, and he's exposed for 2 from this point forward. With this one, you're only out there for 1 to start with. Let's turn these off, okay? And after hit number 1, you have to add to your rack, from your rack. Now you're at the 3 unit level. So after hit number 1, remember Greg was even, right? He brought back his first wins and he was even. This person here not only isn't even, now they're at full exposure. So after 1 hit, they got nothing to show for it, okay? After the second hit, when this person wins 3 units, right? Greg, remember, would have brought back 2 to his rack. He would be in profit at this point. This person regresses back to 2 and brings back the profit. Now after roll number 2, they're in the exact same spot. So after 2 hits, they're both in the same position. This person had to put more money out there to get there. Now on roll 3, if we win the third one, you're out here, and we're not going to stack it and go to 4. He's going to bring this back to his rack and would have actually, again, 1 unit extra, same as the Paroli, 1 extra unit over the base system. At roll 2, they're in the same spot. The difference is that Greg on roll 1 is even. This guy on roll 1 is more upside down than he started with. So his exposure increases on roll 2. Greg on roll 2 is actually in a position of playing from a position of safety. He's got his money back, and his second roll, looking for the streak, is from a safe spot, where this guy on the second roll, where he adds 1 from his rack to the winnings, has increased his volatility on roll 2 versus being safe at roll 2. That's a big thing to think about, right? Let's look at that again, because I think that can't be understated. We'll put both players side by side. I think it's cool to see this. So we'll put Greg here and the progression player here. And again, we'll have nothing happening yet. Point gets set. They both have money in their rack. They both have a quarter out here. The point gets set. Greg's exposed, right? First win comes. He wins 1. Greg wins 2. Greg comes back and is essentially even in his rack. We'll take his odds with him, of course, right? This guy here is more exposed. The difference right there should be obvious to you. Greg has got, technically speaking, profit. He's about to play his next one, but he's even for his initial exposure. This guy here is not even. He's upside down. Next point gets set to 8. Greg comes back out. He has the same level of exposure. 2 units here, 2 units of exposure here for this guy. When this hit comes in, now things even out. He takes his hit. This guy takes 3, regresses down to 2, and comes up into the rack. So there's the difference, where after roll 2, they're both the same. At roll 2, this player has a decided advantage because they're playing from a position of complete safety, which I think is interesting. Let's compare again, Greg. And I want to use that as the baseline because it is a great baseline to compare to. Let's compare that to another way that I like to do this, which is the regression up and pull. This was the John Patrick system that Ken always talks about. Let's do the exact same thing again. This player will also have 2 units in their rack to start with, as does Greg, the 5-5-5 method. We set a point of 8. Actually, they're both on the don't. Here's what's going to happen. This guy's going to have 2 units out of the gate on the don't. Right from jump, he's got 2 units out there. Greg has 1. We set the point. Greg goes to odds. Both had the same exposure after the point's been set. There's additional exposure here at the come out, right? Once we're in the roll, though, the exposure is the same. This person could technically win more money on the come out 2s and 3s. So there's that little advantage. Let's say that, though, shooter misses their point and we get a win. They're both going to win 2 units. Greg's going to rack the 2. This guy here is going to actually rack, he's going to regress down. He's going to rack 3 units. Okay. Now, technically speaking, he's ahead of the game, right? His exposure, well, if the puck goes off, obviously, they're both back up in their rack like this. There's the initials. Their exposure is going to be the same. We get a new point of 8. Greg's back out, obviously, for the thing in the odds. This guy's back out for only 1 unit. So he's locked up his profit. He's going to be in profit for sure. He started with 2. regress down to 1. He's locking this in, which is he's actually in better spot than anybody so far is at roll after that first win. Let's take the second win. Okay, Greg, again, wins a unit on both. He's up his 4-unit level. This guy over here is in his press mode. He regressed. Now he's up at roll 2. At roll 3, again, Greg takes his win. He's at 6 units. The regression up and pull guy is going to be here. He goes up and pulls, and he's set at a 3-unit level for the next one. Greg is back to his base level. He's going to flat bet the whole thing. Look where we are after 3 rolls. After 3 rolls, right, the 5-5-5 method is 2 units to the good over the RUP guy, but this guy's got now more potential. And as we know, once you get 3, this paying off, the 3 units that pay off, there's a 6% chance of that working, right? And that's where I think this system falls short in craps. That's a tough one to get. The RUP works great in Baccarat. It works great black and red and roulette. It works great other places. It does not work great here, based on what I've seen. So that 6% thing feels like it's really hard to get to. So I think that's the way we do it. And yeah, so I think, I don't know. To me, this is telling me a whole lot of what I need to know. So look at this thing here. I broke this down last night. I'm like, you know what? There's a lot to this. And I think, you know, a lot of people will poo-poo Greg and say, oh, you know, it's boring. It's boring. It's the, what's the point of doing this? Right? All day? Really? That's what you're going to do? And Greg said on his show one time, and I, you know, of course will believe him, that a casino worker said to him, you're the only guy that ever wins over time. Well, there's the reason why. You just saw it. You just saw it. So I think that's actually pretty cool there. So there we go. Hope that makes some sense. And I'm going up here. Let's see. I'm looking at Greg here. It's the issue we have with Andrew's 1-3-2-4. Hit 4 never comes, right? The 3-2-4, sure, right? That can, and again, these progressions can work in so many different ways, right? There's so many ways to run it. The numbers, whatever they are, I like moving up. I like the regression system as well, but the regression system, as you can see, leaves you at roll 4 with not enough money. You know, so if you're going to regress up and pull, that third one's got to be a full pull. And if it's a full pull down, you can be even. So why don't we go ahead and roll a little bit? And let me go ahead and switch. I'm going to switch some stuff out here real quick. Give me a second to get my table reset for you. And then I'm going to pull up. Let's see. Let's get these over here, this out of the way. I think I've got 250. All right, let's put this back out on the table here. You haven't seen this yet, but I'm going to put this out like so. We're going to change our screen. And I think if I change the screen in the right way, you should see the players. I'm going to need some help here. So let's do this table wide, and you should be able to see who's who. Let me slide this down a little bit here. There we go. Now it's lined up with who's playing what. So in the front left, we're going to do the Paroli system, right? It's 10 $25 chips. That's it. We're going to do it. We're going to try it 10 times. Regression up and pull over here. In the front, that's going to be 10 $50 tries, right? The 1-3-2-4 or the 1-3-2 is going to be in the back. Again, $500 bankroll, 10 times 50. We're going to try that. And of course, we'll use Greg's up in the top there, which is the more complicated rack. I've got you set up here with 10 shooters at $55. So we're going to do that, $30 no matter what. The interesting thing about this one is that I did it on the dream scenario with the 8 and the 6 as the point. You know, if it gets on a 4 or a 10, that odds win is only $15. So we'll see what happens. At the end of this thing, I'm going to roll for a few minutes here. We'll see what kind of money we can make with each of those strategies. And that's going to be our plan here. So let's use the red dice. We're shooting for big red. I'm going to use the red dice, and we'll see what just happens. Here we go. We're going to come out to a 6. So our point's going to be a 6. And of course, nobody's on the line, right? Let's go ahead. This is going to be, so the player on the top left here is going to be, let me get my glasses on here so I make sure I get the right ones in the right spot. So Greg over here, I'm going to put you over here. You're going to be pass line or don't pass with odds. The Paroli guy is going to be right next to you, Greg. in the front here on the left-hand side, from my left-hand side, I'm gonna make sure I can put that where you can see it. This will be the regression up and pull. I'm gonna put him here. Can you see that? Can I get him there? I'll put him there right in front of the bars. And this guy here in the back is gonna be the progression guy. So the progression guy is gonna be here on this side. I'll try and remember where I've got everybody's money as we go. Let's see if we can't make a point here. Or let's make a 7 rather. There's a 6, so everybody loses, which is good. I don't gotta remember who to pay. We all lose. London Bridge is falling down. Is that what it is? All right, so again, in the front here, this guy here is gonna be the regression up and pull. This is gonna be the progression. This is gonna be the Paroli, and this is gonna be the Greg over here. 6-5 yo. Everybody gets their ass kicked. Here we go. We'll try it again. So again, once again, the front, this is gonna be the regression up and pull. That's gonna be that guy. This is gonna be the Paroli guy. And this is gonna be Greg again. So Greg's rack is getting a little messy because we had a couple of losses in there. So that's okay, we'll keep him steady. There's an 8, 5, 3, 8. It's our next point. So Greg comes out with his odds. 5, 1, 6. There's a 1, 2, 3, ace deuce. I know y'all can't see that front left side of my table there. There's the 7. All right, so that's good. Everybody gets paid here, 5 or 4, 3, 7. So Greg is gonna get paid on the 8, the 50 bucks we talked about. That's gonna come back into the rack along with his odds. I'm gonna put those wins in the back side of his thing. We'll keep piling up the wins back here, and I'll keep the front of his rack as sane as I can to make it make some sense. So there's that. That's Greg. He's back on with his basic don't pass. This guy over here in the front was the Paroli guy. He's just going to take that and hammer it. Okay. The progression guy here, which is from the back side of my rack, he's going to get his win and add to it. He's going to go to 3 units here. The regression up and pull guy is going to take his 2 chips and regress down, and back to the rack he goes. He's actually in pretty good shape because he got beat twice and he just won a few. So he's going to be in good shape. We're going to come out to a new point and see how we all do. There's a 4, 1, 5. Good point for everybody. Greg is going to lay on the 5. 30 bucks to win 20. Everybody else is going to stay put. And that would be, by the way, we'll note this with the white chips. That's 1 in a row. We're going to try, I'll try and keep like, if we get a run, how many times we get a run of what size. So this particular run is on a run of 1. And we'll just see how many times we can win in a row. There's a 4, 2, 6. Again, this is less, there's a 9, by the way. This is less of a comparison between the ways as a demonstration of how hard this is going to be to get anywhere. This is actually put it where you can see it. It's going to be so hard to get 2 or 3 in a row. That's what I really want to see. It's less about which strategy worked the best. And it's not even like these are strategies. It's more about, just where and when do you put your money? I'm a big believer in, you only win when you have money on the table. And I think this is putting more money on the table when you have a chance to. This is putting more money on the table when you have a chance to. The other two are completely streak betting. So it's interesting. There's another 4, 2, 6. There's the 7, 6, 1, 7. I'm gonna mark that up as our second win in that streak. And again, we're on a point of 5 here. So the 5, 5, 5 system wins 20 and 25. That will come back to the rack. And again, we'll put all the wins that he achieves just off here in the back side of the rack to keep them separate from everything else. We'll bring back that odds play, and he stays put, okay? This player here is the Paroli. He gets paid, and he's shooting the moon. He's gonna stack that thing right up. The other guy that's doing the streak betting, he's getting 3. He's coming back to level 2 and bringing 4 back to his rack. Regression up and pull, gets a hit, and now he's up next time he pulls. Here we go, next point's coming out. There's a hard 4. It's a great point for the don't. Great point for the don't. Here we go. Greg's going to come out again with his odds. And that's the worst case for that one because this is going to be 30 to win 15. So not ideal profit-wise, but again, the flat bet is where the money is. And there's 5 to 7. So we did get 3 in our streak, which is absolutely tastic. So Greg is going to get 25 and 15. Again, I'm going to bring those profits to the back side of the rack here and just kind of keep lining those things up so we can see how good Greg is doing back here. And if you want to get a count of where he is in the roll, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So because we lost 2, he's actually a little bit behind in his initial bankroll. We could actually take the profits if we wanted to, and I probably should do this, and reset. There's 9. Let me get another thingy here. There's his initial bankroll, and his profit ends up being what's in the back. So we'll keep working, keep trying to work the front side of Greg's rack to give a sense of profit. So the Paroli guy hits the home run, right? He hits all 4 of those, right? And because we're doing a 3-hit progression, he's done. He's going to come back down. He's going to bring it all back down and go back to 1 unit, and he wins a fat 7 units, which is fantastic. He's ahead. Super cool, right? The guy that's doing this strategy here, I'm out of green chips. Give me a second to walk over here. Actually, you know what I'm going to do? Because it's Greg. Greg is the star of the show today. I'm going to go ahead and get these green chips. I'll use Greg's table green chips because the other green chips I've got are in the YOLO rack, and I want to make sure I don't forget to count those. So this player here is going to get paid his 2, and he's done, right? 1, 3, 2, he's done, comes back to the rack, and he's ready to fight the next battle. Okay, regression up and pull guy gets paid 2 and pulls, right? He's going to pull it back now, right? Normally he would say, actually, no, he's not. He's going to take his 2, he's going to press and pull. So he's going to go up and pull, up and pull, up and pull the entire time. That's how it's going to work. So there they are. Everybody's set. We're back. Greg's got to go back out. Here we go. New point. 1, 3, 4 again, but that came exactly at the right time, didn't it? 1 roll later than the 7. Perfect. Back on the 4. Here comes Greg's odds. Now, the only thing I feel like is unfair is that this guy is going to regress up, or is going to up and pull forever. It puts him at an advantage, but that's the way that you play the RUP. You're just going to go, you regress and you up and pull forever. That's the way he goes. He's very exposed here to not winning at all on this shot, but it feels maybe unfair to be testing 3 against everybody else's baseline. They all pulled back to base. This guy here could have been 1, 3, 2 and betting 4 now. So I don't know if this is fair to have this guy at 3 units. I'm going to keep him up there because, again, that's the way you play that system, right? Everybody else, if you're doing a 1, 3, 2, 1, 3, 2, you keep resetting your rack or resetting your base bet. So I'm going to keep that here on that level. There's a 4, 3, 7. So look at us. Look at us rolling 7s, baby. 4 in a row. Okay. Again, on the right side there, we're going to get 25 and 15. And again, I'll bring all this back to the rack. There's his initial bankroll. There is the profit section. Greg's doing great. This player over here, the Paroli, gets paid 1 and goes to stack. The progression player is going to get paid 1. And he's going to, this is from his rack back here, he's going to get 1 and he's going to stack it up. The up and pull guy is going to get paid 3, go up 1, and rack 1. So he's going to go up a unit and pull whatever profit every single time. Greg is back out for a baseline bet. There's an 11, so there it is, right? The progression guy gets burned for the extra chip that he threw out there. He was extra exposed and lost it. Bummer. The regression up and pull guy was only out there for 1 chip. Everything else here is profit play. So he loses 3 units in potential profit, but he was only ever at risk for that 1. Not awful. Paroli guy loses his base bet, right, and his profit. So he doesn't really go any deeper in the hole. He just didn't win on that one, okay? And over here, Greg is going to just lose the quarter not the end of the world there. So there's that. I think I paid the Paroli guy in the wrong spot. I think as I'm looking at the screen there, I think when he won his 7 units, that should be over here. I paid this player his money on that one shot. So that was a mistake. So sorry about that. His rack is actually right now. So that was a big miss by me. So sorry for getting that screwed up. Here we go again. Out clean. There's Greg. There's Paroli. There's regression up and pull going out for 2. There is the progression guy going out for 1. New point coming. Oh, wow. Look at this with the 4s. A 1, 3, 4 again. Ding, ding, ding. We're down here. Again, Greg will throw odds on that. Everybody else is just going to watch the magic. There's a 5, 4, 9. There's a 4, 1, 5. There's a 5, 1, 6. And there's the 4. So everybody loses. Again, no laddering here. We're just going to lose and live to fight another day. There's the losses coming back. Everybody's going back out at the same level. The regression up and pull guy is doing 2. Ladder guy's doing 1. Paroli guy's doing 1. Greg is doing 1. Here we go. New point coming. 5, 2, 7. We all lose, which makes it easy to track. Okay, he's out for 1. This is the, which one is this? I keep losing my damn place. This is regression up. He goes out for 2. This guy's out for 1. This guy's out for 1. Greg is again out for 1. Here we go. Next point. Puck is off, by the way. I keep forgetting to turn the puck off. 7. Oh my gosh. Now that we're getting the parade of ugly for these don't players. Okay, here we go again. We're just gonna have to reset and replay it, right? That's the way that it works. So again, this guy over here, up and pull, he's got to put 2 out there. This guy here is gonna put 1 out. Paroli's gonna put 1. Greg's gonna put 1. Let's get a point. Come on, let's get a point, shooter. 10. First one we've seen. It's a good point for everybody. Again, Greg will lay on the 10. And again, not doing any sort of like pressed up lays or anything crazy. I'm just literally gonna play it straight up, not chasing a thing. Just want to play them straight. There's 2 9s in a row. There's the 10. So now we're on the streak of we've lost, I think, 4 times in a row. I should probably put that out there in reds. Actually, it's interesting. We lost. We had 11, 2 7s on the come out, and now we just lost on a point. There's 4 losses in a row following those 4 wins that we had in a row. So that's a little bit ugly. Look at the trend. If you're in win craps, that is 2 enormous spikes in this game. Isn't that crazy how ugly that is? Here we go. Let's just do it again. Again, 1 from here, or sorry, 2 from here, 1 from here, 1 from there, and Greg is out for 1 again. Midnight, nothing happens. Nothing happens. We haven't gotten paid on a craps number yet, which is not normal for me. I usually roll a lot of craps numbers. The puck is off, by the way. Now it's on the 5. All right, Greg, let's get you your odds out there. All right, you're a little behind. You got your 4. Nice thing about the lammers, by the way, you can tell exactly how far behind you are. You start digging in, you have extra lammers sitting out here. That means you're donating money. You can easily see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. He's lost 4 shooters worth of money as we're doing this. So the lammers give you that information, which is sad as well. And there's a 3, 2, 5. So that's our 5th loss in a row for the don't pass, right? Not fantastic at all. Where I was at a green chips before over here in my rack, in my dealer rack, I have too many now. That's not a good sign. Here we go again. 2, 1, 1, and Greg is out again. We'll make this probably our last shooter. We're on Actually, we'll take one win. If we can get a win anywhere. Oh my gosh. 527 again. Woo! I think Greg's got a system where we lay the back wall and jump into this from that, the ultimate Andre, that we could be running here, but again, not switching it up. I'm not gonna switch it up. There's 6 consecutive. So you have 4 consecutive, 6 consecutive. Nobody ever gets to tell me again that there's no such thing as a trend in this game. I don't wanna hear it. Don't wanna hear about no such thing as trends. That's BS. Up and pull is here. The progression player is here. Greg is gonna be down here. Paroli is gonna be in here. An 8. We're on the 8. We're gonna go ahead and drop the odds out there, Greg, for you. Grab our dice, and let's have an outcome that we can all be happy with. 7. Whew. Finally a 7. There's the first one in a row. So regression up and pull player is going to obviously regress and bring this back to the front. He's gonna be a little bit okay with that. The progression player is gonna have to add 1. He's increasing his exposure. The Paroli guy is just gonna do a flat press. Greg is gonna be like, hell yeah, I am outie. I'm out of here. I'm getting my money back, and I'm gonna reset my rack and try and earn my way back to health a little bit. So he's gonna get at least 1 shooter back from that mess. Here we go. Puck is off. A 9. 6, 3, 9. If we get a streak of reds, I'll keep running here. If we get a chop and lose this, I'll stop, just for the sake of time. There's a hard 4. There's an 11. Yo, 11. Does not matter. Oh, Greg, I'm sorry. I didn't get your odds out there. There's your odds. There's the 7. 2 in a row. We're on a point of 9. Those odds pay 20. So you get one of your own chips back, plus 20. That's great. Let's reset your rack so that you look proper up here. So we'll try and get your money back as best as we can. There's 55. So you're still 3 shots down. You've got a bunch of reds back here in profit. You're doing okay. The Paroli guy gets a hit and presses it. The progression player takes a win of 3, goes down to level 2. He's back up in here. The RUP guy gets his second hit, and now he's up. He pulls the next one down. Here we go. 5, 2, 7. Let's get something good coming out of this thing. A 5, 1, 6. All right, Greg, back on the odds for you. Here we go. 4, 1, 5. 5, 3, 8. Dice in the middle there. Another 4, 1, 5. There's a hard 10. 10 the hard way. Not that it matters. I had a hard 4, 3 easy 4s, an easy 10, actually 2 easy 10s and a hard 10. But they're so far apart that you're playing that strategy. It's not probably ideal today. I've had a lot of them, but I've also rolled probably about 100 times. So it's not like that's a good streak to try to jump into. There's aces. Let's go, Big Red. What do you got for me? There it is, Big Red. 6, 1, 7. And again, the streak continues here. We're going streak, streak, streak. Very interesting. So on a 6, we get paid like this on the Greg side, which is great. I'm going to bring back that. I'm going to try and get you again, reset to the best of my ability here and get you even. So you're at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 shooters. You're almost back to square one, Greg. You're almost fighting the battle to get back to normal. The Paroli guy here is going to win 4 and go for the home run, right? That's his thing. He's bumped up now. He's going to actually no, he's got it. He's got his 4. He's done. He's back. He's back to square. The 1, 3, 2 guy wins his 2, and he's done. He's back to square. The regression up and pull guy gets paid 2, and he goes up and pulls. So he's bumped up. Everybody else is back to base, which is again, the unfairness, but That's the way that strategy is played. So I'm not going to ever let him out of it. And here again is the 11. So trying to get hit 4. We all go down in flames. Let's see who made money here. I'm going to get Greg's nickels colored up. There's 2 quarters. So his rack ends up being like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So he's $50 light. He has 9 out of 10 that he started with. So he's minus $50 after winning 8 times or 7 times. Not great. This guy over here, which was the Paroli guy, he hit the Paroli twice. He hit the 3 twice. He has 1, 2. There's his 250 that he started with. He started out with 250. He's got a net profit of $100. Okay, hitting the home run twice never hurts. So he's actually up by 100. Greg is down, in this case, by 50. The regression up and pull guy got hammered today. Being out there for 2 at a time during that come out loss series just crushed him. He started out with 500. He's got 100, 250. He lost half his bankroll. And again, being out there for 2 during the come out losses was just too much to overcome. This guy right here had bought him for 500 as well. So he's got 1, he played the progression system. 1, 200, 300, 400, 500, he won a quarter. So in today's competition, if you want to call it a competition, the Paroli and the progression guy both won. RUP got hammered. Greg floated good most of the day. This kind of a run, this 6 losses in a row on the don't, that's not normal. And I want you to know this, right? That's not normal. And 2 people showed profit and Greg didn't even get his butt kicked. Greg stayed just good. I mean, $50 loss in a streak like that, that's okay. That's actually really good. This is the one that got hurt. Coming out there with all the exposure early, those come out losses will eat you up. If you're getting 11s and you're not getting the craps numbers, that will be a soul crusher, right? I still don't ever hedge for this because I know I win more here. But in this particular case, that was a harmful situation for that player. So there it is. That's your look at progressions. And more importantly, I'm going to put this back on screen here. That's progressions in general. And I really want you to take a peek at this in terms of not so much which way would you play, because this is not an endorsement of anything, right? This is a look at if you're building a strategy of your own that you want to play your way to playing, what's the best way to build out part of it, right? I play a way where, the don't pass to me is one part of the horseman. So the horseman has the don't pass piece and the come bet piece, right? My question is always, how do I play the horseman, right? Do I play the don't pass part of the horseman in a progression with the Paroli, with an RUP, or with a flat don't with odds like Greg does? That the don't pass piece of that can be played separately from the 3 come bets. And how do you play it right? I do this kind of stuff here all the time to decide what's the best way to play that part of that bet as I'm building a larger strategy out. So I hope that was actually educational. And Greg is saying that 555 don't was designed for volatility protection, and it's exactly what it did, Greg. I mean, it's such a great way to play, and it's I want to say this, the beauty is in the simplicity of it, right? It's a no-brainer. It's a quarter, it's 30, it's a quarter, it's 30. And in a good streak there, you're way up. During that first 4 in a row, right, you were up by $200, which was fantastic, right? You withstood the bad streak, you earned it back, and then you're in position now to kind of to go through. And I think it speaks volumes to that strategy. The Paroli system luckily got 2 home runs today. 2 home runs out of 3 series. That's a miracle, and that's why that person ended up ahead. Honestly, I think that winning 4 in a row and 3 in a row in rapid succession like we did today is the abnormal case. You don't normally see those big swings like that. So that thing won, I want to say almost in spite of itself, right? The other 2 systems, again, the progression system, I like to attack after a win, attack the win. I may revisit that a little bit and see, well, what's the best way to get to roll 3? What's the best level for roll 3? You mentioned earlier, Ray, going like 3, 2, 3 or something like that. Look at what happened to the regression up and pull. Going out there with a bigger don't in the beginning, too volatile. In a case like this where you have those come out losers, that extra volatility crushed that one. And that's unfortunate. And it's good to see. I think it's good to see how they all work. And again, I'm not trying to compare this versus that. It's more about how do each one of them perform in the given rhythm of a table. And I think we learned something by watching it play out. And in fact, it almost matches the chart that we saw. So I think that's actually pretty solid. So there it is.